Using AI chatbots as personal therapists is on the rise in Australia, with some seeing it as a free alternative to a professional clinical assessment. But there are concerns those who are emotionally distressed, vulnerable or needing specific guidance might not be getting the proper help they need. President of the Australian Psychological Society, Dr. Sarah Quinn, says AI tools and face-to-face therapy need to strike a healthy balance.
I think that AI can stimulate interaction, but it lacks that emotional depth, cultural awareness and professional judgment required for psychological treatment. We know that AI cannot navigate the grey areas of trauma, identity, grief and complex interpersonal dynamics the way that a trained psychologist can. AI lacks that contextual understanding, and it might give advice that feels helpful in the moment, but it fails to meet psychological needs and may even reinforce harmful beliefs. So our research warns of what we would call pseudo-intimacy. That's where users might feel connected, but the interaction really does lack that emotional reciprocity. So we know that therapy isn't just about words, it's about meaning, it's about connection and trust, and those are things that AI can't replicate, and it's a crucial part of the therapeutic process and recovery for our most vulnerable in our communities.
Yeah, and Sarah, is there also of concern that the whole way that AI works is that it learns? So it's learning the sort of responses that you want it to give, or the types of questions, and therefore that's not tailored. It's tailored specifically for you, but it's not necessarily tailored specifically for helping you go forward.
I completely agree with this, and I really like the question. I think we need to be very cautious not to mistake AI for a replacement for psychological support and mental health support, especially without regulation. We risk actually normalising the unqualified transactional support, which is what you're talking about there, Lorna. AI tools are designed to give responses that some might find comforting, but they can't actually assess risk. They can't adapt to our individual unique histories or intervene in a crisis. So users may come to depend on AI rather than seek that qualified care, and especially for those most vulnerable and those most in distress. We know that even in these specific issues, risk can include a reinforcement of negative thinking patterns, which we call confirmation bias. So when we have individuals at their most dire need, the last thing we need is for AI to repeat back those concerns back to them. We need to be providing them with appropriate challenging support and escalation, understanding that escalation in symptoms to get them the support that they need when they need it the most.
Are there also privacy concerns? I'm thinking if a person is chatting to a bot and might have thoughts of harming themselves, and that then is on the computer, it's on the chat sequence in a office of a psychological professional, that stays there. But once it's on the internet, does that concern you?
Concerns me greatly. Psychology is a regulated profession. We spend a very long time understanding the nature of information, how it is that confidential information should be stored and managed and used. And a crucial part of engaging with an individual for the first time is educating them on being very clear about where it is that their information is going to be stored and used, and how it's going to be used in the future as well. Those are those ethical concerns, lack of consent that we don't see addressed yet by the government. We need really to understand data privacy and transparency. Who owns this data? Who's liable if something goes wrong? We know that only trained professionals can actually discuss that informed consent in a really safe way with an individual. And effectively, we know that AI is evolving fast. Our ethical responsibility is timeless, and we haven't yet effectively caught up with technology. It's moving too fast for our regulation to actually keep up with. So our government must regulate IIOS and mental health, especially in those high-risk settings that you're speaking about. Stronger protections are needed for our community, and investments required in the research to understand the impacts of the psychological use of AI, especially on our youth who are very comfortable being engaged with AI, and we really don't know what the impacts of that use will be.
Dr. Sarah Quinn, President of the Australian Psychological Society, thank you.
Thanks, Lorna.